So I am in a great mood. My wife took my kids swimming and I've got the house to myself. It's playtime. Check out what I am doing. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can make a cool little hook coat rack thing that looks kind of like this for a mudroom or drop zone or entryway, whatever they're calling it these days. And guess what? I'm making it out of a hardwood floor plank. You can see our kitchen floor here. So I went down to the basement, rooted around in our supplies, and found one, and it's going to match. You can see our mudroom here is a complete disaster, so the idea is to spread things out, some of those backpacks and coats onto this blank wall right here, but not sticking out far enough where there's a closet door that opens and then the main garage door that opens. So should be a nice little area where we could take advantage of some space. So I'm going to cut this down to length. We're going from the wall to the edge of the door trim because these hardwood planks have these little knob, these little grooves and whatnot that stick out. So I just got rid of one side and then I'm cutting that to the exact length that I want it. By the way, click that like button, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to share this video with somebody who you might think could benefit from a cool coat rack hook system like this. All right, so that's pretty much a perfect fit. I'm happy with that. I'm also considering the existing shelving. I want visually things to flow. So the existing shelving is about 62 3/4 to the base of that. So I think the base of this hook system should be about the same, 62 3/4. We'll get that marked, and I'm going to turn on my air compressor. Get yourself an air compressor and a brad nail gun if you don't have one. Links in the description below for all of the products and supplies that you see, tools and all that good stuff in this video. So we're going to level this out here, and I've got, it's a bit awkward holding it with two hands, but I want my level here. And I'm carefully going to make sure that is in the correct position while applying a lot of pressure with my left hand and fingers. I'm going to reach down and grab my brad nail gun. And you can put these basically anywhere. I've got, I don't know, an inch and an eighth length nails or something, just to get it set and secure. It's going right into the drywall, so it's not secure at all. But I just need it there because it sure beats trying to level this with drilling pilot holes and screws. This is the best thing ever. So with that kind of in place temporarily, well, it's not temporary, it's just not secured. We're going to be finding the studs. Oh, there's one right there. This little magnet stud finder thing. Pretty cool. Anyway, it hooked on right there, so I know where the studs are. And unfortunately, the studs are not centered, so no worries at all. I've got 3/4 inch thick hardwood here, so as long as my board is secured to the studs in the wall, it's going to be super. There doesn't need to be a centered stud. So there is a stud over here, and at a slight angle, I'm going to drill a pilot hole. It's going to penetrate this hardwood plank, and it's going to go through the drywall and maybe a little bit into the stud behind there. I don't mind, I just need to get that pilot hole through the wood in the plank because I don't want it to crack when I put my screw through. I am color matching the heads of the screws, so I've got gray so that the head, I don't have to worry about covering these up. You could certainly try to do that, put a little wood putty in there, but this particular finish would be really hard to match. So I just decided to go with a similar color, and I don't mind seeing the head screws a little bit. I am going to countersink them so that they are completely flush and even with the surface of the plank. I don't need them to sink any farther down, although I could, and they certainly shouldn't stick up at all. So that is the first thing that I'm doing here, and this baby is now secured. Before you do this, you could consider putting some wood glue on the back of this so that it's evenly glued to the wall. In this case, 2 3-inch deck screws is what I'm using. Will do the trick, one at each end. And next I'm going to, so if you're worried about bowing in the middle, I'm not, because the wood is super thick and hard, and it is going to be, it's super solid. So next I am doing my pilot holes for the actual hook. The first hook, I'm just doing 3 hooks. You could certainly do more, right? But I am centering it since it's an odd number, 3 hooks. The one in the middle will be centered on the plank. So I measured the center line on the plank, and then am drilling my 2 pilot holes to attach the first hook. I went with a brush nickel or stainless hook. I think it's technically brush nickel, but these hooks match the existing hooks on the other side behind me here. So we got these online, and they're pretty expensive, I would say, for a hook. You could probably go into your local big box store and pick up something a little cheaper. But if you're worried about exact matching, I think we paid $5 or so for each one of these. So cost is always something I am worried about, thinking about. How can I keep costs down in all of my projects? And I'm sure you are too, but I'm not willing to sacrifice quality. So I got a free board here, something that was just kind of hanging out in our basement. And the hooks I splurged a little bit more on, so about $15 total. And of course I had the existing tools and screws just kind of lying around the garage. So maybe about $20 total investment in this project. Not too bad. And these screws that I'm putting in here are the finished screws, so they actually look good on the outside. And then they are deep enough to penetrate that hardwood all the way back. Now it's going to poke through and go into drywall, but that's okay because you've got 3/4 inch hardwood plank securing that on, and that's not going anywhere. I mean, I wouldn't recommend doing pull-ups on it, but it should handle backpacks and coats without any issue whatsoever. The other two, I'm kind of close to the wall, and my wife's going to probably come home and get mad at my decision that I made, but hey, it was a command decision. She wasn't here, and obviously you can put those wherever you want. So I'm going to actually hang them out, put them to the ends a little bit, and I run the risk of, see that door trim, when the door opens, maybe something hits up against it, or there's a closet to my left that might, So is it too close to the wall? Time will tell, but hey, whatever. I think it looks good, don't you? And that is it. We've got the remaining hooks set in the hardwood, and we are sturdy, secure, and I think it looks pretty good. Not bad for a hardwood plank, right? That's supposed to be in the floor. We've got an unfinished edge closest to me and on the top, but no one can see that from the top, and I think it looks okay on the bottom. Anyway, hopefully this has helped you out, giving you some inspiration, and thanks for being with me.